Sports plays a significant role in shaping the history of a city, and beat writers are the chroniclers of that history. In St. Louis, writer Jim Thomas covered the journeys of two championship teams whose victories unified the entire community. Thomas shares insights into his career as a writer, the principles of excellent journalism, and the unforgettable moments that defined a city.
I can remember as a 10-year-old, I had a make-believe neighborhood newspaper, and I would just write stuff on paper. I couldn't type then, about the little sports happenings in the neighborhood. I went to George Washington University in Washington, D.C., just 5 blocks from the White House. I was majoring in political science and journalism. I wanted to cover politics and government. I was in school there at the time of Watergate, so it was a crazy time. But I lasted there only 2 years. So I ended up getting my degree at UMSL, Missouri St. Louis. So I was on the 7.5-year plan, but I finally got a degree. In my time as a beat writer with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, I covered the '99 Rams, the greatest show on turf, the city's one and only Super Bowl championship, and then exactly 20 years later, I covered the 2019 St. Louis Blues, the one and only championship team in hockey for this city. If you're covering a team, the beat writer is the one that's there basically every day and chronicling the team. I always found the best way to get good information is to try to get whoever you're interviewing to relax. So try to have a conversational style. It helps to have the players, coaches, team personnel trust you. Another thing I'll say is maybe try to ask one question more, to maybe get a more in-depth answer. The how and why, and maybe take it one step further. It helps to be curious. If you're a sports writer, especially covering a beat as the everyday guy, it's long days, 10, 12, 14-hour days. In hockey, there's the morning skate when they have a game. You'd do that, you'd write a little blog about what happened there, maybe what lineup changes, or maybe what injured players are in the game. Then you go home for a couple hours. Then you show up at the game about 2 hours beforehand and then right there. So it's a long day, and the hockey travel is pretty grueling. I'll put it this way, there's no easy way to get from St. Louis to Winnipeg. It's not like there's 6 nonstop flights, so the travel could be very grueling, and so it's a grind. Today's media, there are a lot of challenges. For one, newspapers are kind of a dying breed right now. I mean, there's still a demand for it. I think newspapers and internet sites are just invaluable beyond the sports world to democracy, that there are lights shining on our public institutions. The internet changed a lot. News is instantaneous. It's 24/7. The other thing I'll say is that social media has changed too. So you're expected to do more than just write the stories that appear in the newspaper. If you're the main baseball writer or the main hockey writer, you're doing a reader's chat online every week. You're sending out stuff on Twitter. You've got to have a basic knowledge of that nowadays in the journalism business, and that's another challenge. It's a whole different kind of skill set. One story that I wrote that had the biggest impact, and has been mentioned before, is when I broke the news that Stan Kroenke had agreed to buy up to 40% of the Rams, contingent on them moving to St. Louis, and of course they moved to St. Louis. The story ran on Thanksgiving Day of 1994. I remember the mayor at the time, Freeman Bosley, coming on the air and denouncing me, saying that the story wasn't true and it was irresponsible reporting, and obviously it was true. You have to trust your sources. It was a source story. The move itself was fascinating, and just the whole dynamics that went into that. The Rams announced that they were moving in January of '95. They had a big pep rally at the convention center. The very first game up in Green Bay was something I'll never forget. Brett Favre and the Packers were right just on their ascent. The Rams rallied for a victory. A young, unknown wide receiver named Isaac Bruce, he blocked a punt on special teams. And the very next play, he's at wide receiver and he catches a touchdown pass. Favorite memory. I'm sitting in the press box, they're playing Boston, and there was so much demand at TD Garden in Boston for tickets that normally the players that are injured or scratched, they'll sit in a luxury box or a suite. They were right next to us on press row. Robert Thomas was like this far away from me, and when Braden Shen scored to make it 3-0, I remember turning and looking at the players, and they were so excited. You could tell the look in their eyes is, we're going to win this thing. We're going to win the Stanley Cup. And they did. I was downtown for the parade and the pep rally under the arch, and it was fantastic. I'll never forget Ryan O'Reilly after the parade, where they were under the arch, said St. Louis is a town of great people, incredible hockey fans, and tremendous drinkers.